Welcome back to Listen In. We've got a special guest today, Sam Johnson, and I'm going to be sharing a song. This is Smile High's special. What's it buzzing? Uh,
Fuzz. Who's fuzzing?
Alexis. We're good. All right, take two. uh, Smile High is the solo project of Ben Smiley Silverstein, currently based out of Los Angeles, California. Smiley is the keyboard player and founding member of The Main Squeeze, a world touring funk soul rock band that was formed in 2010 in Bloomington, Indiana. Since moving to Los Angeles in 2016, Smiley started producing for other artists, mostly in the R&B world, while starting to accumulate their own solo material. Smile High's first release was a 7-song EP called Sky Vision, released in early 2021, which features vocalist Antwaun Stanley from Wolfpack and Corey Fry from The Main Squeeze. As for Antwaun Stanley, he grew up in Flint, Michigan. He began starting to sing at age of 3 and took part in talent competitions including the Queen Latifah Show and Showtime at the Apollo, which is pretty cool. And in college, Antwaun released an album called I Can Do Anything. The album reached number 22 on the US Gospel Albums chart, and the album's third track, Teach Me, reached number 29 on the US Gospel chart. In 2015, he also opened up for hip hop artist Common. I'm a big fan. And he has 19 listed collaborations with Wolfpack and Corey Wong. Corey Wong is like the band leader of Wolfpack. So although Wolfpack rotates out singers and band members sometimes, that's a pretty established number to have done with them. So he's a mainstay there, and they're also a great band to check out. Um, I don't really have much more to add except that I'm really excited to share this one with y'all. When I ran across this song, I really could not stop listening to it. Just kept coming back to it, and I hope you are similarly hooked. All right, here we go.
Sometimes you really feel it up, and other times you really feel down. But you keep a smile on your face. You gotta know that you're enough, and ain't nobody take your place. You just gotta keep on pressing on. You're an exception. You are a diamond. You've got that fire. You've got something special, special inside. You've got something special. You don't have to hide. You've got something special, special inside. You've got something special inside. You got everything you need, and you don't have to be afraid. You just gotta keep on pressing on. Trouble don't last always, so pick yourself up and be strong. You just gotta keep on pressing on. You're an exception. You are a diamond. You got them fire. You've got something special, special inside. You've got something special. You don't have to hide. You've got something special, special inside. You've got something special inside.
So, do you think that song was special?
I'll tell you what I think, and
Oh no.
this is this is 100% indication of just to show you like how prepared I am for this show. When I was listening to the songs before the show, I tried to listen to them in what I thought the order was, and I for some reason thought Jesse's song was last. So the first thing I wrote was, "What a great way to bring a close to the episode. The energy is so lovely and positive." I already had this anticipation that we were gonna end the song. I mean, end the episode on this song. And either way, doesn't matter where it came in the order. This song, the energy, it's incredible. It's so just bright and positive. Absolutely loved it. It is special.
I really liked, and can you hear me? I just
Yes.
did some things. Okay. I like how in the production there's such a use of just blank space, and that the silence becomes almost part of the beat, like in a very like it's a snare rather than just as a we're waiting for something else.
hmm Yeah, I was actually gonna point that out as well. I was feeling like someone must have given them the like adult mom memo that they're using like stylistic pauses on Berlin, and they're like, oh, we got to do stylistic pauses too. But I like the way that you yeah, I like the way that you described it, though, that in this situation those stylistic pauses feel like they are kind of part of the percussion or the percussive element, in that the gap in itself can almost replace the snare, and I thought that's really cool actually.
To the point where it's like super choppy too. Like things were chopped off to make those pauses feel crisper. It wasn't just like, oh, we'll pause here.
You're right,
Which was
yeah.
a really cool production choice, I thought. And I definitely think it pulled me in more than sometimes just making the song louder by filling that in with something. It like made me listen for the next weird noise or fun thing that was going to happen in the background.
It also works really well with the chopped samples that they do and the pitch shifted vocals in the background. It's another early 2000s hip hoppy kind of thing, and that alongside the vocal gave me some kind of D'Angelo vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, the
Love
rhythm is
D'Angelo.
also very D'Angelo as well. Yeah.
hmm
Because I was thinking like we're talking about the rhythm and the choppiness of it. Like you'd have to be a really good drummer to be able to pull this off live. Like that's like Questlove level drumming.
Uh-huh.
um,
You're hitting and muting
yeah,
constantly.
yeah. But yeah, the little noises that come in are also like their own sort of punctuation to the song. Like you have the arpeggiations going up, and then there's a sound, and then arpeggiation going down, and there's another sound. And the little sounds are repeated, but not. There's enough different sounds that it's not like, oh, they're just doing that again. And it's like a little thing. It's in between a surprise and something you're looking forward to, and you don't know what you're gonna get. You know every time there's an arpeggiation, you're gonna get something, but it's like, oh, it's that one, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there was actually like a pattern to it. I didn't think to try to chart it out and see what fun sound came in where. Or if it was just sort of, this sounds good here, let's put it here.
Yeah, could be.
You know I
First time
loved
it
the
was kind
piano
of-
though.
It felt kind of disjointed to me the first time that I heard some of that. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And it was just with the repetition of it that I was like, oh, okay, I can jam to this.
That feels a bit like they say when like doing a jazz solo that if you hit a wrong note, just keep hitting it. Just do it again. Yeah. It's that same advice, but for production.
That's something
Make it
I'm
intentional.
constantly saying in voice lessons is like, just keep going when you mess it up. And yeah, if you mess something up and it's you're gonna repeat it a few times, repeat it 3 times, and it's a choice. If you just do it once and then you like look kind of funky and I didn't do that, then everyone's gonna be off board already.
I once heard somebody make up Italian for an entire verse.
I feel like that's definitely a me sort of thing. If I am ever stranded on a song that's in another language. I'm making up those words. I don't care. I'm not gonna do like plain syllables. I'm gonna make up words, and if I offend you, I apologize. If I come across a word that's actually a bad word, that's all on me.
Congratulations.
I actually I had that exact experience once at a talent show. So we were supposed to perform two songs. I picked one that was in English. That's like my go-to, like I'm showing off song, and then this was at an anime convention. So one of the requirements is you had to have a song from an anime, and the like obviously you're gonna get more points for if it's in Japanese because that's harder. So I did one in Japanese, and I thought I had it memorized, but when I was on stage, I did not. So I just kind of
Uh-oh.
like made up Japanese sounding syllables as I went along, which is very embarrassing. But most people couldn't tell. So
One time, a similar thing happened to me, but I was singing an English song and I made up English syllables, and they turned into a phrase that does make sense. But because I was singing the American national anthem, people didn't seem to love the shift that I made. But whatever.
Wow.
I think you win.
It was in a minor league baseball game, and so they
Wow.
were like, the guy filming me just started laughing. I was like, "Oh, I knew this would happen." And the Rockets, and it was just I didn't get invited back.
I want that as a shirt. We knew this would happen.
It's a great story though.
New merch line dropped.
Ooh.
Back to the song. I really loved the piano, which I bet you could guess. I was gonna say that, but it was so fun, and I like how it was incorporated into that choppy, and it almost became like call and responsey sometimes with those chopped out bits. Yeah. I don't have
Yes.
anything more.
Super cool chord progressions happening with the with the piano, and I took note of that. I was like, whoa, like I like the chords that they're using. I like how they're using it, like the syncopated rhythms and stuff. And now that Jesse has given me context that Antwaun is from Wolfpack, I'm like, oh, this sounds very Wolfpack now that I think about it. And I'm wondering if like maybe there's like some sort of cross-pollination thing happening here, because before I was just like, oh, this is a bop. There's like some jazziness going on here, but I didn't make that connection to Wolfpack at all. But yeah, this sounds very, very Wolfpack, and I'm wondering if like the artist specifically try to channel a Wolfpack sort of vibe in their own style now that they have Antwaun as the singer for this track. That was really, really interesting.
I think that's very possible. Because Smile High, the producer, was like his style is kind of all over the place in terms of the stuff he's making, which I enjoy. But if like this, I was saving this for the wrap up, but if you want more of this, actually the way to go is maybe checking out Antoine's his own solo stuff or side projects, because he's got an EP that I listened to immediately after I listened to this song that was like I had a hard time picking between that something from that EP and this song that I brought, but I decided this was like a little jazzier, a little like more like self-contained, so I went with this one. But it's very much the same vibe with Antoine's music, so I think there's definitely a decision. Antwaun as the collaborator, as the singer, was like a very intentional pick for like he does this sort of music really well, so I'm gonna get him.
I also like how long it is.
I was gonna mention that.
I wanted it to be longer.
I was in shock at it was like when I came to the realization it was only 2.5 minutes. I was like, wow, it does not feel like 2.5 minutes. Like this, I kind of like make this point a lot, that a lot of the songs that we do bring end up being kind of short, and somehow they really managed to perfect making every single second feel like they matter, and by the time we get to the end, like there's really not much more you really need. It would be nice if it was longer, but like it really felt like a longer song to me because it just felt that complete.
I think it feels complete, but also I felt like I needed some conclusion to the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a lot longer, but I lost my train of thought. Completely derailed.
Make up syllables.
I think
Sometimes
they
I
could
feel
get
like
away
I'm in
with
that
another
short
30
story where it
seconds.
makes like a loud noise in your ear to interrupt your train of thought. That is my head. Sorry, Jesse, what were you saying?
But yeah, I think they could get away with another 30 seconds of song. Because it does end a little abruptly. I agree. But that's kind of cool too. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're done.
Uh-huh.
I think it's really important when you're writing songs to not just try to add something because you think that it needs it because everyone else has used the same sort of form. And
Mm-hmm.
with this, just the form of it, I mean, lyrically, it's like so repetitive, right? And it's if you kind of did that one more time, I think it wouldn't work. And so to change this, you'd have to just change like the entire form. In my opinion, I just don't know how that would work. But for what this is, like 230 works really, really well. And also just music in general right now, people don't really have long attention spans. So releasing short stuff like this works really well. It's easier to place in TikToks. I think it's a smart thing in general.
I want to hear what it would sound like if they took every little like choppy sound bit that they used and then like layered them one after another to end it. But like so that it arpeggiated down until it just went to the lowest.
Wow.
And then I think I would feel complete. I think that's what I needed at the very end. Well, and so especially like in the context like this, when we're just listening to a song and then it's like the end and then we're talking. And it's like, oh, I needed more music. Like, I wanted to repeat it, or I wanted to hear the next song, or I wanted to. And maybe that has a great benefit, especially on an album, when you're like, oh, got to keep listening. Or if you're just listening on your own, you're like, oh, I got to repeat that song again. I need more of it. And so that is a time and place sort of thing for sure.
One time I heard a suggestion that if you have a song stuck in your head, it just won't go away and you really want it gone, you need to just make up a resolution in your head. Because usually we get stuck in just these very repetitive parts and then it's back to the start. But I like doing a big bam, bam at the end of my head and then it's a little easier to move on.
I always just say, listen to Call Me Maybe.
Which I did once about 30 times in a row because it's just such a bop.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So if you want more of this stuff, like I mentioned, Antwaun's music is really good for that. And Smiley or Smile High, he's very active on Instagram, so check that out. Always posting pics of like gigs and other stuff. So that's you want more? It's there. Anyways, let's go to the next song.